Hello everybody, welcome into the first form of the new year, and it's the perfect time to come back because we look forward to Group 2 action out of Trentham with the Thorndon Mile, and I can tell you it's a new look as well. We've got no Leith and no Aidan coming across from the lead up. Good morning to you, BP.
Good morning, Pip. Yeah, great to be here. Looking forward to what's in front of us this weekend, and it's a real momentum push towards basically the Kiwi, isn't it, from here with the racing we have coming up. But yeah, good, strong racing. The Thorndon Mile to look forward to. That field's come up well. Let's hope the track conditions can hold up as well for the good racing that's in front of us on the Champagne turf. Yeah,
absolutely. And of course, the man that'll be looking forward to the action is Bevan Sweeney. A very good morning to you, Sweens, and a Happy New Year.
Yeah, Happy New Year. Great to be joining you for the first time into the new year. Looking forward to all the action out of Trentham on Saturday. A bit of controversy, I reckon, with BP being here. Maybe we take all the money from the bets that'll be put out later on this afternoon. I think we probably need it as well. But it's pretty wet out there. Pip will update weather and track conditions shortly.
We certainly will. But first, let's have a look at what is coming up on the show. And we'll be starting with that feature, the Group 2 Thorndon Mile. Also having a look at the undercard, including a very nice three-year-old race there for the fillies. Our usual segments. Then, of course, we've got to have a look at Wingatui as well. Their feature on the program, the Wakaway Cup, and our best bets. We're trying to find you those for the weekend. So let's crack into it. We'll start with our feature, and it is out of Trentham, day 2 of the carnival. So let's get back to you, Bevan Sweeney. There's a little bit of a heavy rain watch around. What will that do to the track come Saturday?
Well, it was in a good state, wasn't it? Been very windy, very warm. Jamie put a little bit of water on, I think, Monday, not much, 5 mils, I understand. So he just waited, really, with the forecast. It would have been very firm. It was very windy, very, very warm across the weekend. So it'll need rain. I think he would have had to put on 20-odd mils either today or yesterday if the rain wasn't coming. So it'll just depend what we're getting. I think to this point they've got around 15 mils, which would be perfect, but there is further rain through the afternoon. It's not supposed to stop until later on this evening. So there'll be cut out of the track. I think as long as we get 24 hours of decent weather moving into race day, then this track does come back very quickly. So fingers crossed it's not too bad Friday into Saturday morning.
Okay, it's a bit of a weather watch as we take a look at the feature. Race number 8 on the program for the Group 2 here over the mile, where Legato is the favourite in the Harcourt's Thorndon at $3, Queen Zoo at $5.50, Hio's Hasbom at $7s, and the Scunner at $9. Have they got the market right, Swens?
Well, she's a class mare. She probably hasn't showed us her best to this point, and she has to carry the weight with the conditions of the Thorndon Mile now. At $3. Interesting. Queen Zoo with a very awkward draw but flying. Hio Sasbom, great draw, loves a bit of rain around. I think there's a bit of value on that price. And I wouldn't be against taking a bit of Dr. Escar, actually. He's really rounding into some decent sort of form. But as far as the map, I thought there was 2 obvious that might pop across here, BP in the Thorndon.
Yeah, it's an interesting map, isn't it, Bevan, as we bring it up for you? And I guess the first one is where Queen Zoo's drawn out in barrier number 12. That's problematic for that horse. You'd imagine they'll be looking to go back. The outside barrier draw for Matatiri Molly means that you'd imagine they're going to push forward. Dr. Ascar a lot better last time to the races, and the Scunner, who's drawn just under Dr. Ascar, looks to be natural. The other one I'm considering here, Bevan, is Hio Sasbom, who we saw going forward last time to the races, and obviously it was beneficial for that horse with how it dictated terms. Barrier draw of 5, at least they're going to put themselves in the right spot, you'd imagine, for a horse like that runner.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so that's how the guys are thinking the race will set up as we take you to our first form reference, the Group 1 Zabeel Classic. And here is Legato. Look, she was really good, Sweens, obviously hitting the line behind Kingswood, who just left them standing.
Oh, I just don't know how to really line this up because it was farcically run, really, and a great ride by Rory. And she's worked home nicely. I just haven't seen that turn of foot that she did have at her very, very peak. She is racing really honestly, and she is the class horse of the race. She has to carry 58. She gives a lot of weight away to some other very smart and upcoming young horses. But if she can find a spot, she'll be right in the finish, BP, even with the weight she is going to carry on Saturday.
Yeah, you're right, Bevan, with her being the class element in this race, isn't she? And look, she's won 2 Group 1s over 1,600 metres. They were as a 3-year-old when she won the 1,000 guineas and also the Australian guineas. But just where is she at this preparation? She had an opportunity, of course, at Trentham when running fourth in the TAB Move Faster Classic, where she drew low. She came into that off the back of a very good trial. Look, she ran well, but the other three were certainly better in that race, and then she's been able to go up in distance and finish into third position. Look, she gets all favours here. She gets barrier draw of 2, should be able to camp in behind speed, and just that little drop back from Group 1 company, you can understand why she is the favourite.
Yeah, you really can, and she's got Ryan Elliott aboard as well, who knows her so well again, off the back of that third. She also graces the race form cover as well, so let's hope she can pick up her first win back this preparation. It'll be a race to do it as well. However, this mare is racing very well for Stephen Marsh. It's Queen Zoo. Let's take you back to her last start win in the Richhill Mile, and gosh, she's just really announced herself, fair to say, BP, I think, this prep.
She has, and I think it was 2 starts ago when you line up that Hini Kaha performance in the Kalai Zuzu, and you consider that, you know, Jaffe was behind them. Of course, Jaffe then goes on to be Group 1 placed and then produces this effort in a very strong Richhill Mile. This had to be, it's always a strong addition, this race, but just proved that she is up to this level. She's going to have to be right up to this level on the weekend, Bevan, with the barrier draw that they've been given. They'll have to hope that the race pans out for them, that there's that right sort of pressure, that she can roll into the race at the right time, but she comes with the right form lines.
She's possibly the most informed miler in the country at the present moment, isn't she? And she's come a long way very, very quickly. Look, I would have had her on top if she'd drawn a marble. I just think it's very, very difficult with some speed drawn inside. They might try and come across with Maritiri Molly, the Scunner, Dr. Escar, and find a slot forward. If they do that, the whole sort of price model changes for me with Queen Zoo, because she's absolutely flying. And Matt Cartwright is riding really, really well. But the draw just does niggle me. I'd forgive the Scunner the performance the other way of going at Ellerslie. A bit of travel. I think that might have affected the Scunner on that occasion. So I'm a bit of a forgive around there around the Scunner. Its draw might put it right in the 1-1 as well. So informed miler pip, draw very, very niggly for Saturday.
Yeah, it really is, and you might want to wait to see if that price gets a little bit further out in the market because of it. Another runner we want to take you to now is Hio Sasbon. Haven't seen her since running in the Thompson Handicap here, beating the Scunner Sweens. This was back in October, so where do you think she's at now?
I saw some work the other day, and it was awesome. Beat one bolt cat, and she was double wraps, handbrake on, chewing on the bit, ready to fly. She's the one that the weather really plays into the hands of. She's very, very capable on off-track conditions. She can be positively ridden. I don't think they expected Chris to go forward this day, but Chris is very, very proficient when he goes forward on a horse, and he did dominate that race, and she just kept on getting stronger through the line. Look, a slight niggle with the gap in runs, but her fresh record's outstanding. A little bit of cut in the trick should help her. I think she finds a perfect spot in the run, and I think she's very, very hard to beat, Hio Sasbon, and good price at around 7.
Very backable, isn't it? I think that run added to her versatility of showing that she can go forward. Chris knows the horse well now with a couple of good steers aboard this runner. Yeah, you're right, 83 days is probably a little question mark, but sounds like she's been kept up to the mark, and that piece of work that you mentioned as well in between races. That race is rated through the roof. Everything about her suggests that she can be a bet. She has the barrier draw. She should position up nicely. And rain. Rain's not an issue. A little bit of forgiveness in the ground. I do like her prospects with where she sits at $7 as well. Yeah,
she looks a really good chance if that rain comes. What about this mare, though? She knows Trentham very well. Let's have a look at Maritiri Molly. And look, she was so game here in the Challenge Stakes. Just unfortunate Lux Libertas was back to her best.
Exactly right. Yeah, it's a good form race, isn't it? And as you said, Pip, she loves the place, doesn't she? She really does enjoy galloping at Trentham. She was in front. She's got run down here by Lux Libertas. Of course, this was at weight for her age, and she'll enjoy coming back to handicap conditions, back to 53.5 kilograms. Look, Bevan, the key with her, she just tries her guts out, doesn't she? She's a real trier. They'll be hoping the track condition doesn't get any worse than that sort of 6 range, but she just gives her all, doesn't she?
She does. She's really, really honest. I think they might have sort of had a question mark going into the last start, but I think she showed us enough to say she is nearing her peak. Again, she's another one with an awkward draw. Look, I imagine they go forward, but if the Scunner and Dr. Escar want to dominate, might have her out on a limb, and Kate might just have to use a fair bit of petrol to get into a decent sort of position in the run. I don't know if she's going as well as last season. I think she's going really well, but she was really peaking in good company last season at this time of the year. But I'd expect a run from her. Maddie Dixon is a very, very good trainer. The one that really impressed me out of that race was Bell's Bow. There's got to be a good race in Bell's Bow on what we've seen this preparation. All Smelt Waverley. The last couple of runs behind the Scanner and Lux Libertas have been excellent. I think there's a decent race in Bell's Bow. Might get a nice soft sit in this year's Thorndon as well.
And we've got a couple of Southern Raiders as well making their way up. For Sir Albert and Mystic Park, we'll take you back to them racing each other at Timaru. What did you make of the efforts here, BP?
Yeah, look, Sir Albert, first of all, who finishes in front of Mystic Park, is just one of those gallopers who's been in grand form all preparation. Is drawn, both these runners are drawn soft. They're drawn 6 for Sir Albert, and Mystic Park's drawn in barrier number 4. So Sir Albert comes with good, strong, consistent form. But then you look to a horse like Mystic Park and you've only got to go 3 starts back to be able to find these 2 horses quinelling a Copeland. So if there's that sort of form line coming into this race, we know the depth of that event, both drawn well. The Southerners come here probably thinking they could be a touch underrated, and they are in the marketplace, both sitting at around $11.
Yeah, they certainly are. What about you, Sweens? Do you like the Southerners?
Well, I always go back to Sir Albert in the Copeland's Mile. How did he run second? It was an unbelievable effort. Should have won the race. Let's be honest. Sir Albert should have won that race. Mystic Park took it out, just had the softer run. Sir Albert was amazing on the day. I think there was a real decent pipe opener at Timaru leading in to Saturday. I don't think any rain around will affect Sir Albert. Probably brings him right into it. Mystic Park's always had a lot of quality. So, look, I don't think they should be any closer to a Legato, but I think, that's probably respect enough in the market around about 10s. There'll be Southern money for both of them. I think they'll probably finish up shorter than they are in the market at the present time. And I've got respect about both of those horses with the right run, with a little bit of luck, maybe some rain in the air. Both of those horses can go very close to winning.
Okay, it's a race with a lot of depth, our feature, but we've got to put the circle around one, Sween. So is it for you?
I've loved Hoyo Sasbomb from the off when it won at Hara at a massive price. Sometimes when you put a little gold coin on one and it gets up at a big price, you just keep on following. So I've been with Hoyo Sasbomb for a long period of time. I think the setup for Saturday is perfect. Draw, weight, track conditions, and what I saw when working at New Plymouth with One Bold Cat, who came out and won on the first day of the carnival, suggests she's right on the mark to be winning on Saturday.
Yeah, I'm with you, Bevan. Her win in the Thompson Handicap rated through the roof. So, and I just like how she's had that break in between runs, but that may not be a bad thing as well for her heading into this race. Chris knows the runner well, drawn well, and rain about shouldn't be an issue. So, yeah, happy to side with Hoyo Sasbomb as well at that $7 quote.
There you go. Both the guys are in agreement in the feature, and that means we're going to take a break now. We'll be having a look at the undercard at what is a massive day out of Trentham very shortly.
This Saturday, Trentham Racecourse comes alive for a day of history, heart and headline racing. It all centres on the Harcourt's Thorndon Mile, a classic mile test won by some of the country's finest.
Here it is, celebrate the greatest of all time, Melody Bell!
This year's field promises another thrilling chapter, a mix of seasoned stars and rising hopes, each vying for glory over the famous 1600 metres.
But she's back big time, baby. What a win, Legato.
On the undercard, the Desert Gold Stakes brings together top 3-year-old fillies in a battle of speed and stamina on the pathway to the Oaks.
But she's going to be too good again, like a Lucy for the Desert Gold.
While the newly positioned Trentham Stakes tests our country stayers in a final showdown before the Wellington Cup. It's a full card of quality races steeped in history. Join the action at Trentham this Saturday, live on Trackside 1.
You're watching The Forum. We're about to take a look at the undercard features out of Trentham. We'll start with the 3-year-old fillies race, the Desert Gold Stakes, and it's come up a really good field here. We've got horses in here like Fairy Dream, Waimea Bay, and Dirty D. It is race number 7, I can tell you that anyway, but it's a very open affair. Tajana, who was right in the market, probably drifting out slightly with her, possibly going to Pukekohe. So those markets all available, of course, on your Betcha and TAB apps. What about the speed in the race, BP?
Yeah, well, it's interesting because you mentioned Waimea Bay, one of those runners that's in a part of speed who potentially may not be there as well, as you said, down to be out of Wakaway Park, but could be a very key influencer with speed. The other key runner as well is In Your Dreams from Stephen Marsh's barn, who has drawn middle in barrier number 8. The Dirty D drawn low in barrier number 1. Of course, we didn't see the Dirty D just around that Christmas period of racing, but drawn nicely. And then what's happening out wide? There's always one out wide that we need to be able to look out for if I give potentially one of those horses from out wide that we might be looking to push forward. But this race is centred around what happens with the weather. Waimea Bay, a couple of other horses, Tajana and also Fairy Dream are nominated, as you said, for Wakaway Park as well.
Yes, a little bit of watch around who actually does take their place on Saturday. But if she does Fairy Dream here, Bevan, boy, she was eye-catching at Ellerslie from last, the way she's hit the line with the best closing sectionals.
Yeah, and maybe just a little bit of aqua around helps Fairy Dream. I was actually quite taken by the run out of Wanganui as well behind Circus Dancer because it was just a later dominated day, and she actually hit the line really, really nicely. You think any increase in ground is going to be good. She had this 100 mile. She was exceptional on the day. She'll have to be exceptional again because there's only one spot I can really see her, and that's going to be last back on the inside. But in a race that was dominated on speed, BP, and you'll know this race better than I thought it was an exceptional effort with the winner being ridden beautifully. But this horse might be one that looks towards an Oaks with a fair bit of confidence.
Look, to be honest with you, Bevan, that was the one horse on Boxing Day that I just went, wow, we need to be following this horse from now on in, because she put up a performance that said 2,000 metres plus, that said New Zealand Oaks, and it was on speed dominated, as Bevan said. That was a race that was dominated by Tellum. Joe Doyle got it bang on, and those closest to him, yes, Lollapalooza in that race naturally, drops a bit and then gets going, and she was able to close and make some ground. But Fairy Dream was the real eye catcher and the closer from a long way off them. So if she heads to this race on the weekend off the back of that form, she has to be right in the mix.
Yeah, she really does. But then what about Waimea Bay here? We'll take you up to Ruakaka. Maybe Waikato Stud have another nice one on their hands here, because once clear was very impressive.
Look, it was. And look, the performance to start before really got me, because it was behind Fleeting Star. Fleeting Star was good enough to then be group placed on Boxing Day as well. So the form marries up nicely. And this was just a kill, really. It was a chance to be able to go north, find the right race, and get the show on the road, really, for Waimea Bay. Corrigan Burge was able to jump nicely. There was a bit of speed. They came round, sat off it, came across heels. Basically, the race panned out perfectly for a horse that was looking to go to another grade, Bevan. They had a trip away. It was a very good performance.
Yeah, it's definitely a step up, though, isn't it, BP, around this horse? But there seemed to be enough raw ability there. Even the last 200 metres went clear. I'm not sure Waimea Bay completely had the mind on the job. This will be run stronger. Does it lead? Is the question, mate. Do they jump and run from that gate on what you saw at its previous performance? I would say yes. Has run out the mile strongly. Waikato Stud breeding by Savabeel. It had a Morale mare. The setup's perfect. It is a major step up for Waimea Bay, but I'm not willing to say that it won't happen. Just through from Jamie Phillips, 12 mils, soft 5, light rain at the present moment.
I love it. So hot off the press as we take you to the Dirty D now for Robbie Patterson. Hasn't been on the racetrack since this performance here at Trentham on December the 6th. And as you've already mentioned a few times here, Bevan, there's a little bit of wrap around this filly. Yeah,
there is a wrap around this filly. And what we didn't see there is that Christelle carved up the Dirty D on the corner and probably took it away from the horse. But look, the winner was very good on this occasion as well and has a fair bit of ability. Look, completely different filly from last year's Star. More short coupled, not quite that Oaks type of filly who had the big length about her, but Robbie's had a big opinion of her, drawn to get a very, very sweet run in this race, in my opinion, probably trailing Waimea Bay. If it gets that sort of run with the wrap it's got, then you'd expect it to be very, very competitive.
Yeah, you're right. The Like a Lucy reference definitely comes from the races that she's competed in, and can be a little unfair when Like a Lucy's gone on to great things as a 3-year-old filly, that we can all of a sudden expect that the Dirty D is going to be exactly the same. But missed, I guess, that crucial performance last time to the races. And look, there's a little gap between runs now, 42 days, but she's got the right barrier draw. It means that you've got the right man aboard, the right trainer-jockey combination, and a barrier draw where she can do no work in the race and be presented and give her every opportunity.
Yeah, and she's had that good look there too at Trentham. As we take you now to one of the favourites, and it is Tajana. And we had a track gallop, obviously, at Tauranga not that long ago on January the 8th. So what did you assess with her run here?
Yeah, well, Tajana's coming off the back of a 1,000 guineas defeat, of course. The 2,000 guineas, been beaten in behind Romanoff, and it was the day where the track, turned to its worst, and it was in a heavy nature. So they've tipped her out, they've had a break, and she was able to go around in the sunshine around Tauranga last week and just have a day out of the races and have a nice little hit out. Look, this sets up for her preparation going forward now. Bevan, she's a winner of a Northern Breeders, a Sunline Vase. She really did hit the ground running through her spring preparation. Then she bumped into a filly by the name of Well Written, decided to take on the boys, and they struck that heavy track in the 2,000 guineas. She does bring that class element, and she has a filly that's been there and done that this season.
Oh, you're so right. She's not a 140 miler, is she? She's much more brilliant than that, and that's what turned up at Riccarton. So I personally think she's the second best filly in the country behind Well Written. I think she's got so much upside to Jana. If she gets a decent sort of track, she is the one to beat. There's no doubt about that. She'll get back, yes. And this is all with due respect to Lollapalooza and others. There are some really nice fillies in the country. Well Written stands up here. And I think this filly is behind her, but I think the potential for her up over a trip, I'm really excited about her. I love her action. I love her attitude. The rain would be the big upsetter for Tajana if she lines up, and I suppose there's a question mark Thursday morning as we record whether she's going to be there. If she is there, I think she's the one to beat.
OK, but in saying that, Sweens, does that mean you've got her on top then, or are you just going to wait and see if she takes her place?
Well, at this stage, I'm not convinced she's going to go. So, Fairy Dream really excited me. So, I'm going to back both of those horses. They're both get-back fillies. So, I am sort of dicing with death that something on speed might kick away with possibly not a lot of speed in this particular race. But what Fairy Dream did at Ellerslie, I thought really suggested this horse is going to step up over a trip and has good ability. Love the run at Wanganui. And Tajana's a class. So, I'm happy enough to back both.
All right. I'm sort of thinking that maybe the rain does have an impact on the race. I'm going to pick a horse that sits in the bracket where it won't matter if it rains or what sort of how much rain, and if it pushes right out, it should be a-okay. So I'm rolling the dice on Virgo Viva. Now, this runner won out of Taupō. It was a busy finish late, but it also beat Belcheval on that occasion. Belcheval is going to be a leading chance heading towards a Kiwi, already Group 1 placed in a 1,000 guineas. Was beaten on a firmer surface behind Swiss Prince, and that was, of course, at stakes level. And then they decided, look, let's not go to the 1,000 guineas, let's pull back. Nice enough run first up behind Now Not Never, a horse that's well regarded from Pam Gerard's barn. So, just happy to play the each way on that runner at 13s.
OK, like it. And now we're moving on to the last Group 3 on the programme. This one is the Totara Lodge Trentham Stakes, where Freddie Time is an open favourite at $5 from One Bold Cat at $6, Rosso at $6.50. An open affair, no real surprise there. I think Bevan with the depth in this race and these two fighting it again, this time in the market at the top.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I think, again, this is another step up. And so One Bold Cat, Freddie Time are going to be tested on Saturday. One Bold Cat's such a big horse that he just ran it out strongly. I think there's a little bit of value here around Rosso, actually. European type of stayer. I think the cut in the track would probably help Rosso. 2,100 metres won't, because True Blue Star and looking towards the Wellington Cup, but he might really make a mark on the Wellington Cup on Saturday if he is to take this out with a fair bit of authority. I wonder if BP might have a little bit of Trav in the mix with the blinkers going on again. He's out there at $19 or $18, and I didn't mind his run the other day at Trentham. He got well back and was left alone. Not a bad Spillane, I think, is maybe the map horse and a very fit horse at $9.50. What about you, BP?
Yeah, let's have a look at the map. And it's all about these horses out wide, isn't it? Opawa Jack, who we know loves to rip and tear along, is drawn an outside gate over 2,100 metres. Well, the best thing for him to do is to try and cross them and get into a spot that's more favourable. I'm with you with Not a Bad Spillane. I think this horse drawn out there will look to try and follow over both these runners. He's a doozy. He's another horse that can be a part of that crossing over of speed. You'd imagine Opawa Jack's going to be that first initial one, and then He's a Doozy and Not a Bad Spillane look to follow over. And then you've got these lighter drawn horses like Be Real and Freddie Time will be looking just to tuck under a little bit of outside pressure.
I can tell you too, Bevan, he had a little bit of a smile there when you mentioned Trav as we take you back to Freddie Time here. And of course, One Bold Cat. It was fantastic to see him back in winning form here, Bevan, in the Martin Cup. Drops a kilo from the effort as well, but as you said, this is probably tougher.
Well, he's a tough horse, so if they make it a tough horse race, then he'll be right in the mix. I don't think he sprints really hard these days, but he's such a tough old rooster that he just kept on grinding and grinding away. Again, with that sort of result at set weights and penalties, he has to carry top weight as he generally does, but this is a great effort. I think Freddie Time is next season's horse. I think Tashibwe might be Wellington Cup this year horse, so this race is going to really open some doors as well. He's going to the Wellington Cup. Freddie Time, look out for him next season. I thought Crouch was pretty good with the Wellington Cup perspective, and Be Real probably its best run back in NZ, but can he win on Saturday? One Bold Cat. I liked him last Saturday. I'm not 100% sure here, but hey, they'll have to be tough to get past in BP because he's a tough old rooster.
Yeah, and maybe he's just found that winning groove now, One Bold Cat. He's discovered the winning feeling again. A little bit of rain's not going to be an issue for him either. We know that he doesn't mind getting his toe into the ground. You're right around Crouch. Crouch is just one of those horses that's bubbling away and could be a real multi-maker, maybe not just for the weekend, but heading towards a Wellington Cup just in behind them, and another horse that wouldn't mind a little bit of assistance in the ground.
Yeah, and they might just get that. What about the Pittman runner now, though? Let's take you to Rosso, and had a hard run at Trentham prior to this performance here. He bounced back. Very good at Timaru. Well,
just how good could this horse be? Really, Rosso. I mean, he's played with them here out of Timaru. It was almost track work, wasn't it, from what he's done here? He keeps on stepping up. This is his biggest challenge to date since he's arrived here in this country, Bevan. But if we're thinking that he is going to be a Wellington Cup prospect and he's right at the top of the markets for that, well, then this race is within his beckoning over 2,100 metres. I'm really looking forward to seeing him around Trentham.
Oh, it'll be interesting, all right, because he went round at Trentham a couple of starts ago and they said he needed 2,400 metres. Well, over 2,100 metres, he went 2,400 metres and he was only beaten 2.5 lengths behind Cracker Cole. He was great there. He got away from a handy field. I don't think any cut in the track is against him. I think he posies up. Danny Stackhouse is back to ride him. Look, I thought there was a bit of value. Like, my one issue is if they walk and he gets in the ruck. I don't think he's a sort of stayer that'll boom past him quickly, but if they sort of wind it up from the 1,000 metres, he'll be running into it. He's a very talented stayer, and I don't think any cut in the track will affect him. In fact, it might improve his chances, and if it got into some testing territory, then I'll be with him pretty strongly because it'll run like 2,400 metres. That'll be right up his alley.
Okay, so that 650 might shorten in. Now, the last runner that we want to have a look at is Santa Catalina taking out the QE2 Cup, and this was a really good run from her. Obviously, Angela Jones in the saddle, but this is a big step up.
It is, yeah. Look, this horse covered a lot of extra ground in the Kiwi2 Cup, but it was just the way that the race was run, and it was able to just keep on grinding, just kept on finding under Angela Jones. Look, she's just been one of those improvers, Bevan, and she was able to go through the Dunstan final where she ran 5th in that race, found a position here in the Kiwi2 where she just kept on giving, and yeah, why not? The Mackays have got her in a good space at the moment.
Yeah, and from memory, BP, the market really suggested Santa Catalina was going to run a race on this occasion, and they got it exactly right. Now, if you take the last 3 starts out of this mare's performances, then probably hadn't lived up to expectations, to be honest with you, and some moderate races had run well enough, but across the last 3 starts, it was a great effort in 75 grade, and then went there and was dominant really late. And look, Teese was in that market as the winner and just was a little bit flat on the day, but gee, when the Mackays bring a horse to Trentham, you just prick your ears up because they take out these races at big, big prices, and Santa Catalina is one of the more progressive stars at this present moment in the country.
Yeah, you might just want to have a little saver bet. Will you be doing that, Bevan? Who's the one on top for you?
I kept on coming back to Rosso. I would have liked further, but with a bit of cut in the track, it'll run as further. Like, it's got a good draw. It can't be caught 3 wide the entire trip as it was a few starts ago at Trentham. So expecting a really nice run from Rosso. I've got a bit of respect around Trav. I'll be going a gold coin each way.
Yes, I will be as well, Bevan. I'm not making as my top pick, but you can have more than one bet in a race. Look, the thing with Rosso is, if those horses that are drawn wide do certainly apply the blowtorch or certainly want to keep running at a genuine speed. Opawa Jack, we've seen that from him in the past where he's drawn wide, he likes to cross and roll. If he really rolls at a nice tempo, it hopefully will help some of these horses that are midfield and worse off, because if that's the case, we get a nice, first of all, trial for horses that are looking for the Wellington Cup, but also horses in this race looking to win over the 2100 metres. So I'm with Rosso. I'm probably definitely having more than one bet. I think Not a Bad Spillane is probably one horse we need to keep safe as well. And my old mate Trav.
Yeah, you'll have a same race multi for sure, I know you.
Yeah.
All right, from there, the last race we want to have a look at is the Open Sprint. It's a small field, but it still looks competitive, with Anera as your favourite at 290, joint with Miss Fladgate, and then you have Fancy Like Lass on that third line of betting at $4.60. We are going to take you back to the Marsh Runner first, the Miss Fladgate running third at Ellerslie. And look, again, this was a really strong race. I thought it was a good performance from her. What are you thinking about the rain around her?
Yeah, look, she's a mare that's massively improved this season. This season has been her go, where she's won a maiden and then she backed it up and won again. She has very good Ellerslie form, and then this last run here in behind Power of Three when finishing into third position. Look, she's showing good form on that sort of soft 6, soft 7. She has a placing on a heavy track as well if it was to get that bad, so it shouldn't be too much of a problem for her. And that got things back on track, because you've only got to go back 2 starts ago. She bumped into a horse that's running in a Group 1 next week by the name of Swain Estate.
So a very nice form around her, Bevan, and she looks key chance for Stephen.
Yeah, but disappointed about the numbers in this particular race. I thought they might have found a few more, or trainers around the country might have found a few more to put in here, because it is a decent stake at 65 grand. Miss Fleetgate, BP would know more about this mare than I do. I've reviewed the replays. Swaney Stay is a sharp horse 2 starts ago. Like that effort, maybe the left-handed way of going might be some sort of concern, but I'm not sure that in a small race like this they're going to be going enough tempo. Well, Idyllic will go quick, you'd imagine, because it just is a speed machine, but she shouldn't have any real issues. So she has to be in the mix.
OK, well, let's have a look at the joint favourite now for Cody Cole, and this is Anera, and she just held up for a touch, but once she got out to the clear here, Bevan, she was very good into second.
Thought she might be one of the bets of the day. Anera, and I was a bit surprised with the price. What was it, 290 or 280 was available, maybe still available. I think the cut in the track really helps her. I think she's got a fair bit of ability, this mare, especially with some cut in the track. Party rocking solid off the front on this occasion. She was making up really good ground late. I think she gets a great sit just in behind Idyllic, who will go like a cup cat early. She should be able to pop off and be very difficult to beat, especially with a little bit of aqua in the track PP.
Yeah, look, I'm sort of with you as well, Bevan. I thought Anera was probably a bet in the race. Look, just her form lines around her, she should get in the dream spot with how the race pans out. You know, she's had a couple of starts around Trentham as well. So, yeah, and look, in a niggly race, and Bevan's right with just, you know, the small runners is disappointing for such a massive stake, but yeah, she looks well placed.
Yeah, she really does, and just listening to you, Bevan, sounds like she'll be on top for you.
Look, I think Solomon's Gold is a good horse as well, and they went up to Ellerslie. Things didn't quite go perfectly, but it's 5 and change off Swaney's Stay. That's probably good enough to be pretty competitive here. He had 59.5 and comes into kilos to 58, but Anera down on the 54 with cut in the track just comes into it a sweet spot. If the best of Fancy Like Lass was here, I don't think we've seen it in this preparation, then she'd be competitive as well, but happy enough to go with Anera.
Yeah, you know what? I nearly went Fancy Like Lass thinking that same thing, Bevan, because we just know if that horse can find its best form, it could be very hard to catch around here, and I guess depending on where the track might sit as well. But look, track conditions should be okay no matter where things sit for Anera as well. So, yeah, small niggly field. Happy to have something on Anera.
Doesn't often happen that we get all this people agreeing on the form. Have to have you back,
yeah.
BP.
Does Bevan not always agree with Aidan?
No, definitely not. Definitely not, so Bevan. That is a no. Right. What about something else to follow on the programme?
Something else. My something else is going to be Julianus in race number 4. This runner has a very good form reference around it. Now, if you go back to last start to the races when he was able to win out of Te Rapa, he beat home I Hope He Wins. I Hope He Wins is right at the top of the markets to win a New Zealand Oaks and a New Zealand Derby. I know I Hope He Wins was a little unlucky on that occasion, but Julianus was still able to take the race out and kilo off. Happy, I thought, in a very open rating 65 to have something 1 by 3 on that run up, Evan.
Yeah, it is an interesting race, that is for sure. And like you're thinking, what did I go with? Look, Robbie Patterson's got a strong hand in on Saturday. Hooray Henry, up to 1,400 metres will be difficult, but Wild at Heart really impressed me at its debut, and they got the cash around this horse. They opened up 8. I think they picked into about $2.30, and probably shouldn't have won the race with the run it got. Craig Grills has gone with that over Bell's Boom, who does have good ability as well, so that's a good strong lead for me. It's not the most strongest race you're going to find. Hooray Henry's running good sectionals, but it does get a long way out of its ground. The 1,400 metres will help, but yeah, I was impressed with Wild at Heart. We'll be playing that a little bit in the first on the program on Saturday.
Okay, like it. Hopefully kicking us off nice and early with a win, and that completes our look at Trentham. Now time to find some at the trials. What did you find, BP?
I went to the trials out of Tauranga. There was actually a couple of really nice trialists there. I was trying to find something that was maybe tucking in behind that could be nice through the line, but I've ended up going with a horse that's impressed and won by about 3 or 4 and could have won by further. Rosalina. Now, this horse sat back in this trial and really did idle into it. James and Wellwood, well, they've got some horses. They really do have some ammo, and this horse just looks like it's ready to win on debut. When asked, it's had about 3 or 4 trials already, and that was an impressive trial on Tuesday.
I tossed up between 2 trials from Foxton on Tuesday. This is the one I have ended up with. That's Duncannon. Down on the inside is a real speed freak. This is Rock All Night with Chris Dellaboard. Not overly big and still pretty green, but ran a slashing time, was on one rein the whole way down the home straight and on the wrong leg from the look of it, but just blew on by. Rock All Night, look out for it. Thought Worldwide for Sue Thompson and Mick Brown was pretty good on the day as well.
And Aidan's having a well-deserved break, but he has done his homework and given us this one here, Calgary Alley for the Weatherly stable. And boy, it was a very easy victory on the day, BP, at Tauranga as well. So a real follow here. This was over the 950 metres, and as you can see, cleared out. Obviously was pushed to the line.
It was. The others weren't trying hard.
No, they weren't.
But yes, it was pushed out to the line. It looked like they were pretty keen to make sure it's won its trial impressively. But yeah.
Whether it's going to still be here, well, we'll soon find out. But, if those markets opened, it'd be $1.20 off the back of that. So that's an Aidan one. Right, here is the trial files: Rosalina, Rock All Night and Calgary Alley. From there, we are going to be taking you to Wingatui very shortly, but before we do get down south and take a look at the features, we'll take a quick break, so don't go far.
I still need you to stand for what is right. We march in the streets, defund the police if you want to bring change.
Welcome back in. Before we do head down south and take a look at Wingatui, which is our second domestic meeting on Saturday, we've found you some blackbookers to follow. And because you're next to me, BP, that means you're up first. Who have you put the circle around?
All right. Races on Sunday just gone out of Ellerslie. Scarlet Spell. This horse took on Well Written as a debutant in a stakes race on Boxing Day. Finished, I think it was 7 of 7, but it was a very impressive trialer, so they thought, let's have a go. Went round in this race in a maiden and really went round at a silly price considering they thought so much of it, and it's hit the line nicely into second position, so Scarlet Spell may not be too far away from winning a maiden race.
I'm going with a horse called Bell's Fate. I feel like the Robbie Patterson train today, actually, to be honest with you. But this horse is fresh up. This was its fresh up performance after a long spell. Now the winner's sharp. And I'd love to see what this horse did up the inside. Now, it does run on Saturday and the last on the program, and it is a tough race, so I'm not sure it'll be its day on Saturday with Anderson Bridge, who smashed them. Thorax is in there. You've got Epark Hustler in there as well. River Plate came with a big reputation. Old Bill Payne. It's a really nice race, as it always is on this day. But Bell's Fate will win somewhere, sometime.
And Aidan's taking us to the James and Wellwood runner here in Confessara, who raced at Ellerslie on Sunday and behind King's English. And this was a really nice performance from her off the back of her win at Te Rapa. She's come back right-handed, got off the pace and really matching it with a very nice horse here in King's English. So she is a nice follow out of this race. Only had the few race day starts. And for me, I'm taking you to Tauranga back on January the 8th here, TriStar. She was well off the mat at the start, just left standing, but her run home was really good. She had a very quick last 200 metres. The only runner that actually broke the 11 seconds home on the day was Sati, and she wasn't far off that at all. And it was on a good 3, and most of her forms actually got a bit of cut out of the track, so I thought it was very impressive for the Wexford stable. Here is a summary as well. Down the bottom you can see what we're all liking to put into your black book and follow. From there we are going to take you now to Wingatui because it is Wakaway Cup day and we're taking a look at the feature. First up here, race number 7 on the program. And Mayor of Norwood, $3.60, Noble Knight, $5.50, Complicate. But before we do dive into this, what about the weather? Are we getting any nice track conditions down there on Saturday, BP?
Well, I can tell you, Pip, around the Mosgiel area that there has been a little bit of rain. There's, as we record Thursday morning, the likelihood of a fair bit more rain falling and tomorrow as well. So just a real weather watch over the next 48 hours to see where the current track condition lies at. What are we now? Soft 5 on Love Racing website to see if it pushes out any further with that prospect of rain. And yeah, about a high of 14 degrees for Saturday's race day. Okay, we need this pesky, almost winter weather to go away during summer as we take a look at a couple of runners for the feature, the Open 2,000 metre Cup here. And the first runner we want to have a look at is Mayor of Norwood. She was very good picking up his win. This was his third run back this preparation, I should say, and he doesn't go up in weight either too much. No, he goes up a couple of kilos of that, doesn't he? But so impressive, though. I mean, Mayor of Norwood was very impressive on this day when winning on Boxing Day and put them away. Look, here's just one of those stayers, Bevan, that's had a couple of runs to get up and going and now might be just in that sweet spot, even though it's always a bit of an ask when you're not getting any weight relief and you're having to carry 61 kilos.
Well, that was a great run, wasn't it? Because he swept in 3 wide, didn't have all favours. He was a little bit green, as he always has been, and he put him away very, very quickly. Yeah, you've made the relevant point around the weight. 61 is a big impulse, but look, he's used to carrying big weights, of course. He's been right up there for a long period of time, out of the Anderton stables. You're just going with confidence with the training partnership there. And Corey Campbell, who remains with the horse. He's been great to Corey. He's been great to the stable. He's winner of 7. It's not easy to do. 61 is a big implication for him, I think, going into Saturday. But as I said, he's carried weight all his life in recent times, so why not? That was dominant performance.
It won't be any different for him. But what about Generation Joy? She was also a winner on the same meeting. She was significantly slower and obviously coming up here from a rating 75, but winning form's good form. Look,
it is, and she just has that benefit of carrying the 54 kilos. She comes back to a venue where she was winning on the same day, and as you said, Pip, was a couple of seconds slower than the Open from the 65, but just a mare that's now found herself in form. They'll be hoping that the track doesn't push into that heavy bracket. That would be a massive concern if it did find somewhere in there. But Bevan, she comes in with winning form, and they'll be hoping that they can use that weight relief to their advantage.
Well, that's the big advantage, isn't it? 54. I can't see Generation Joy winning the race. Just coming out from 65. That was a nice enough win. Indy Ardy was flashing at it late on that occasion. Yeah. Look, I think there's a couple of tough old roosters further up the market that will be too good for Generation Joy. But, hey, I've been wrong before, but can't see Generation Joy winning myself personally.
Speaking of tough roosters, I thought this was a really brave effort from Mamia as we take you back to the performance. Obviously got right out in front, set them up, and unfortunately the stablemate just pipped her on the post.
That's right. Yeah, things look pretty rosy here at this point, didn't it, for Kendra Backer? She's riding well down there. She is right. She's found a real niche in the South Island, putting her horses into the race and only getting nabbed in the concluding stages. So the likelihood here of something similar happening. Just bear in mind the weight relief is only back to 53. Kendra can only claim back to 53. And there's a couple of other key notables in the race. Jack Taplin won't actually be able to claim on PC Pussycat, for instance, as well. Let Fly was in that race. Let Fly is a former Northerner who performed really well at Ellerslie for a couple of seasons. That was her first run down there. She got back and she never really got into it. Maybe she could be the quick improver from drawn barrier number 2 if you were looking to find a roughie. But I was taken by Mamia and I thought maybe a similar run could see her go close.
Well, the Indiati form really stood up at a Generation Joys race, didn't it? It was a really good bet on the day, especially with the race, the way the race set up with Kelvin Tyler's charges on that occasion. I think makes the race. They should run this really strongly over the 2,200 metres. Again, 65 win, went to 75. Didn't quite get the job done, so it is another step up. But look, it'll make this race very, very interesting, Mayor, and you'll be flashing at it late if Kendra can Kendra get down to 52. That's certainly a light enough weight to let them fly.
Yeah, she can get down to that 53, and she rode a couple of winners yesterday. So you're going to lean towards Mamia, or are you looking elsewhere, Sweens?
I'm completely outside the square of the producer who gave us those VTs. I'm going with Musaif. I love this horse. Always been a fan of Musaif. Chased home Rosso. Look at things. The last two starts prior to that didn't go right clearly at Riccarton. I'm not sure what was going on. In fact, those two runs, because leading into that, I thought Musaif is getting into a position where it's going to be very competitive in the big races. Now, they've just eased up on the source. It'll be fresh 2,200 metres. I've always been a fan. I thought the run behind Rosso back on the 15th was very, very good. I'm expecting a run from Musaif.
Right, yeah, that's one for the multiple punters, isn't it? A nice little price here, but as you said, great form behind Rosso, Bevan. I'm going with Mamia. I just think the track conditions should be no problem there. You're going to find yourself on a soft or a heavy track if all that rain that is scheduled to come arrives. So happy to run with her. Plants herself somewhere on speed, or you'd imagine up on tempo itself. And if she can keep on going, she might be able to run you a nice race at around $8.
Okay, that's what the guys are liking in the feature. The other race we want to take a look at is the open 1,400 metres here, where Brave Spirit is your favourite and looking for 3 straight at $1.80 from Inflamed at $5, Thomasina at $5.50 and Penvose Lad at $7.50. So if you don't like the favourite, there is a bit of value in this race, but we are going to have a look at Brave Spirit first. Obviously beats home a handful of runners here on this occasion, and I thought he was really good and only goes up 1.5 kilos from the win.
Yeah, this horse has run some pretty good numbers. There was high expectation the horse would win first up, and every man and every single dog was on when winning 2 starts ago, and it was out of Riccarton when delivering there for Joseph Waldron. So Brave Spirit backed it up and was too good for them. Short enough, I guess. That's probably the one thing I would say, that they're not really letting you on this time around, Bevan, at the $1.80 quote, but he does come in with some ripping form.
Ripping form, but I'm not anywhere near $1.80 BP. The horse has come a long way in these 3 starts. For Joseph, who's a very good horseman, goes up in weight as the wins come up, gets 55.5. Tristan will be there claiming 1 kilo, so 54.5. So meeting some of these other horses in slightly better slots, but it wouldn't be any surprise, but I'm out on $1.80.
What about Penvose Lad then? He does drop back from the mile to the 1,400 metres, but he was very good here as usual, got back but hit the line well, BP.
Look, it did, and look, it was really strong through the line over the 1,600 metres. It comes back to the 1,400 metres. Again, a horse that's not going to have an issue with track conditions. I think that's a really big assistance here, is we get that track going from 6+. That does bring this horse into the conversation. He's been there or thereabouts. They've made a gear change, Bevan, of putting the visor blinkers on. So, look, if you are looking away from the $1.80 favourite, this one position at $7.50 might entice some.
Look, he's been pretty hard to catch in recent times, hasn't he? He had a lot of seconds. I always thought this horse needed a lot of aqua around and might just get that on Saturday. That would be the biggest key around Penvose Lad. I'm also looking at Royal Valor to really step up, third up. I think Thomasina's in a spot at the weights with Jack Tapman riding and claiming that could put up a run. I thought this was a really niggly race, Pup.
Okay, well, don't go far because I need your selection then. So who have you found on top?
I went with Thomasina in the end, but no confidence at all. This is really a race that you can back a few. If you don't want to play the 180, you can play a couple of spots. Royal Valor's a real favourite of mine, and I think the Wilsons will have it in a sweet spot as well at a good price.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Stewards winner, Inflamed. If you're thinking that Brave Spirit brings the right numbers, and he does, well, Inflamed has certainly shown the effort in the Stewards that she is definitely up to winning this race as well, and can contest the favourite, and you're looking at a better price. You're playing $5 as opposed to $1.80. So just going with Inflamed, who is a runner that's been there and done it, 6-race winner and a stakes winner only a couple of starts ago, in testing conditions out of Riccarton, so happy to be with her.
Okay, so a bit of value in the open 1,400 metres. Have you got something else we can follow on the program?
I do, and what was it that I went with? I went with a runner in race, I do know what it is, don't believe me, I do.
Assemble.
Race number 2, Assemble. Now, the reason why I've gone with Assemble, give it to my form.
It's like having Aiden back.
No, hey. Gore. I've got the run at Gore. Now, I had something on this horse at Gore, and there was a horse in front. It was running all over the place, and the horse that ran second was Golden Spirit. And Golden Spirit was copying everything from what was the eventual winner in the race, actually. And Assemble was running on strongly underneath into third position. So, yes, I know the horse has beaten it in Golden Spirit, but I reckon it can go one better with a better barrier draw. Assemble in race number 2. Bevan?
Very good, BP, very good. I'll go with my favourite horse in the South Island. Possibly the best horse in the South Island, in my opinion, Loose Sally. She had no right to win at Wingatui the other day. She was held up, blocked, and then just saw daylight for a couple of split seconds and went bang through. She should line up in a very serious race. I know she was coming up to Trentham and the ferry got cancelled to run in the mile there. She's still in 75 grade, which is interesting, and they're claiming. So she's running above the handicap. She's getting 3 kilos off, so she still carries 59.5. She had 57 in her most recent performance. She's got a touch of class, Loose Sally, and I expect her to be really competitive in a big field on Saturday.
Yeah, she really does. So there you go. There's a couple to follow out of Wingatui outside of the features as we get you now to our bank builders. So who's going to build the bank nice and early for you, BP?
Well, I'm going to go to Friday. There's Friday racing out of Te Rapa, and there's a runner in the first race of the day that's drawn in barrier number 20 over 1,400 metres. Her name is Single Red. Craig Grills takes the ride for Andrew Forsman. Look, I've actually backed this horse to win the New Zealand Oaks at $41, so I really do need to be winning very shortly so she can put her hand up to getting to an Oaks. So hopefully that is the first race out of Te Rapa. Very good run, finishing into 4th position, and looking forward to seeing her going beyond 1,400. So we'll have something on her. Bevan is my bank builder.
I'm going to the first. And I hope the brothers are back speaking, and Ruvenish and Perfect Tycoon. I don't think he would have jumped off the horse and said much to Shankar after that race, because it was a Barry Crocker. He got back from a good draw, held up, flew home, ran 4th. I think everyone in the country was just going, oh dear. But Ruvenish will claim 3 down to 55.5. He's got a good draw. If it jumps the gate, I think it's Perfect Tycoon's day, but we have said that a little bit around this horse.
Yes, we have many, many times, but hopefully this will be the day as we take you to a break on the form. Don't go too far. Best bets around the corner.
I'm rolling with you.
Actually really like, we'll go a little bit outside, New Plymouth, maiden 3-year-old 1800, a horse called Lost Salcero by Frankel.
The leader is Lost Salcero, punched out by Riddell, and the favourite will score.
Sunday, Taupo, maiden trio 1200, Rebel Creek.
3-horse battle here. Rebel Creek on the outside, getting the advantage from Spark, who's trying hard, but Rebel Creek.
I'm going to go Now Not Never again.
Now Not Never in front of the 100 metres, battling away Be Water. Now Justice for All's coming after them late. Now Not Never needs the post. It's just in front. It's delivered for Pam.
Leaf, as I mentioned, he's gone on holiday, but he has delivered a best bet before he's delivered the presents. So let's have a look at what his best bet is. And it is Vegas Queen looking to go back-to-back at Ellerslie.
It's Vegas Queen in front of the 150. She's clear by 2 from Frostfair, Lochtanora, Chichilian, and back to Angel. But the Queen from the north, Vegas Queen, too good.
Gone down to Timaru on Sunday and looking for Rosso to bounce back to his very best form.
It's Rosso in front, 3 or 4, an emerging talent from the Emerald Isle to the Shaky Isle. Bring on the capital, Rosso by 3.
It's good to see some winners get home from our last show, and Pam Gerard, she's certainly got to be a favourite. She just keeps on delivering and got one there with Now Not Never. As you can see, there is a summary of our best bets, so I need to lift along with Sorry, Swains, you, but Aidan and Leith, the two who aren't here, got us the win. Right from there, before we do find more bets this weekend, the form versus the leg up, and here you are. So since you're a guest, we'll let you go first, BP. You guys are ahead too, so what have you got? Yeah, it's me versus you this week.
Right, okay, I didn't realise we were ahead, so, there it is, 7-5, okay.
Sure you didn't realise. Listen to it.
There's a long way to go. There is a long way to go. And we'll be hoping that we can just try and increase our lead by a little bit further. So I'm going to go with a few options. We'll go with this multi first of all. We'll go with the Te Rapa bets. $20 to win single red at $7. Race number 2, Flashback, who ran second behind Panther, who's on a trail towards the Kiwi. That looks like nice form, $5. Asal. Go back and have a look at replay of Asal. It came from a million miles off them. $10 at $26. Gee, I reckon that would bury the pot, wouldn't it, if that got up? Let's move to Trentham, race 8. We'll put $10 to win on Hayo Sassbomb at $7. We'll go to Wakaway Park, race 5. Do like the chances of High Society, $20 to win on that runner. And then we'll take a multi, $20. Single red top 4, which is $2.10. Flashback top 3, down $1.90. Not too sure what High Society is paying for top 3, but we'll have $20 on that. Return serve, Pip Morris.
Well, lucky I can stop trains. I might have to put $1 on that Asal, I think. When if I put money on, it goes down the drain. Right, Te Rapa for me, I really like Quando. There's a bit of rain around on the track too. Coming out of a strong listed race last time for Andrew Forsman. Very good at Te Rapa in the past as well. So $20 a win on him. At Wingatui, come on, Perfect Tycoon. I am hoping it will be his day, taking the $3.30, $20 on his nose. Then at Trentham, I do like Anera in that race we previewed, so $20 on her at $2.90. Julianus, I was dirty when he won at Te Rapa and I didn't follow my money. I will be this time at Trentham. And a multi for me as well. Te Rapa, Quando top 3, then Perfect Tycoon top 3, Onera, and I'm going to go High Society as well.
I see what's going on here.
Top 3, you know. I've been a fan of that one. Thought maybe I'll just pop it in there as well, BP.
See how we go. You can trump my multi that might come in and you'll come over the top with a little bit more.
Hey, we've got to play tactics. We're behind. Right, from there it is time for our best bets, when we're going to start with you, Brendan Popplewell. Who are you liking?
Right, well, I'm going to go to Wakaway Park, and I do like the chances of High Society. It is a maiden galloper in race number 5. Look, things just didn't go to plan last time out of Rotorua. It was a race that was won by Sugar Snaps. Sugar Snaps was just looking like the leader for all money, and it found that top position. And this runner here just got flushed from a very good draw to be caught 3 wide, and has still fought on well to finish into 5th position. First up run was in behind Axel when running 3rd. Axel is a horse who can work its way to a derby, so do like High Society in race 5 out of Wakaway Park over the 1,300 metres. Bevan, what about you?
Yeah, I saw some WhatsApp action after Thad's dart landed on Basil Warrior there. It was game over. He always was an early crower at school, and we had to tap him on the head and put him back in his position. So there's a few weeks to go. This horse, La Bella Uno Monday Wanganui, is going to go very close.
And Aidan was liking Perfect Tycoon as well at Wingatui, so hopefully he can get the job done. And I am with Quando as my best bet on the program on Friday. As I said, a little bit of aqua around I think will really suit this horse for Andrew Forsman, and hopefully he can bounce back to winning form. So thanks to my racehorse horse who brings us our best bets every week. Here is a summary, and the Whale kicking us off with Nellie Doyle at Blenheim on Friday, and there's the rest of ours. And that means it's time for us to go. It's been nice to have you back with us, BP, for a change, but you can go back to the leg up. Good luck this week.
Oh, thank you, Pip. Yeah, no, enjoy my time here. Nice being back on the form, and good luck to everyone out there this weekend. Yeah,
absolutely. And as always, thank you very much, Bevan. We look forward to your coverage at Trentham on Saturday. Until next week, we'll catch you back then.